Bookmakers. The job turned out well. Mother started work at 10, so she was able to get the 9:30 bus in the mornings. And she finished at 2, so she was home before Saoirse finished school. And there was no difference high up or low down really, except that Mother wore makeup every day and spent a long time looking at herself in the sitting room mirror in the mornings while Saoirse was having her breakfast. The job was in a bookie's. Bookie was short for bookmaker. Saoirse imagined Mother placing pages carefully in their proper order and gluing the ends of them into their covers, while other people drew the pictures that went into the covers. And the people that wrote the books stood waiting with their stories piled high up in their arms. She knew, though, really, that Mother didn't make books. The bookmaker had something to do with horse racing, and from what Saoirse had seen of it on television, horse racing was the most boring thing on earth. She wondered why the world tried to make itself so mysterious, why things were given such misleading names. Mother worked on Saturdays too. One Saturday, she and Nana waited in Quigley's bakery for Mother to finish. The cafe was closing at 5, and so was the bookies. A few minutes before 5, Nana said, "Run next door like a good girl and have a peep in." There was no window on the wall or door of the bookies, just a high opaque pane that stretched across its width, and a metal sign bolted where the window would be, with a picture of a horse leaping a fence and a jockey in white and green leaning forward onto the horse's neck. As Saoirse opened the door, she saw her mother behind a high counter at the shop's far end, and a small group of men huddled before it looking up at her. A bald man was sitting beside Mother behind the counter, hunched over, counting something, it looked like, because his hands and mouth were moving in unison. One of the men in the bunch was raising himself up towards Mother, and he was holding a piece of paper in his hand. And he shouted something that made all the other men laugh. Mother reached out with her left hand and took the piece of paper from the man, and at the same time swung her right hand around in a wide arc and slapped the man into the side of his face. The bald man, counting, looked over and shook his head and turned back to his counting. Mother examined the piece of paper while the slapped man stood back from the counter, holding his hand to his face. The men around him roared and shook with laughter. "Good girl, Eileen," one of them shouted, and facing his chest-eyed comrade he said, "Jesus Christ, Frank, surely you know better than to give that kind of lip to one from Dirt Island."